Alright guys, in this tutorial I really want to emphasize something when it comes to video. There's two things that are the most important thing when it comes to video. The first thing is focus, okay? When you are shooting, always shoot in manual focus. Do you understand? Always shoot in manual focus. There's a part of the lens of every camera that's the focus knob. Make sure as the action is happening, before you even start recording, make sure it's in focus before you press the record button. Get it in focus, start recording, okay? And sometimes what happens is the subject might be moving, okay? Say that I'm here, all right? I'm in the back and we're in the stage area and they're coming in. The groom and the bride are coming in. They're walking in, say they're walking in to the reception. I'm gonna have to do, like, this is called a pan. I'm gonna have to do a pan and follow them, right? Now understand, it's not just about doing the pan. I also have to have my hand here because I have to follow the focus point. I have to make sure that the focal point is with them as they're going. Do you understand? As they're moving, I have to make sure that I'm panning at once and I'm following them. Now understand that you cannot screw this up, because you're not going to say, oh hey, by the way, I was out of focus when I was recording. Can you please go back and walk again? No, that's going to ruin the whole party, right? They're not going to do that. No one's going to do that for you. So you better get it right the first time, right? MF for manual focus on this lens. Not all lenses have that, like the Lumix G7. There's a knob on the back next to the viewfinder for focus. Right on this side of the, like, right around here, there's one. But on some lenses, especially Nikon, there's a manual focus thing. So, anticipate the action. I'll get more into this later. You move, and you follow focus. Focus, remember, focus is, my point is focus. Manual focus, and just focus as well as you can using this knob, right? One of the knobs, you'll find out, one is for zoom, one is to zoom in and out, and the other one is to focus, all right? Be careful which one you're touching, and hopefully with the practice sessions, we're gonna practice focus. That's very, very important, okay? Stability is the most important thing. Literally the most important thing with videography. You have to have stable footage. Rule number one, do not move around with a tripod. Don't do this. Don't try to do this. No, trust me, you know, this camera is small, but when you put the video on like a 60-inch TV, 70-inch 4K TV, whatever, you're gonna notice every millimeter of shake, and it's gonna look like a damn earthquake, and I'm gonna be pissed. Don't move, all right? The only time you're gonna move is before you press the record button, all right? You move around, you adjust your shot. Understand, you're not a photographer. You can't go too low, you can't go too high. You're kind of confined to how far the tripod goes or how low, you know what I mean? Generally speaking, we don't do low angles with videography anyway. We do over here, maybe over here, maybe over here. You know what I mean? Like, you stay in this range because that's how much the tripod can move anyway, right? You can't do too much. Move to your target location, set your tripod up, you know, move it around with the knobs and stuff. Frame your shot, okay? And press record. And make sure that the subject is in focus. This isn't usually too hard, all right? Go wide, okay, if you have to, depending on if you're doing B-roll or if you're doing a close-up. You're gonna go wide, but my main emphasis of this video is stability, all right? It has to be stable. Do not move around, okay? One thing that you don't wanna do is during a speech. Say during a speech, you're doing a pan, okay? If you're doing a pan during a speech, you gotta keep going, right? Where are you going? You gotta focus on the guys giving a speech. Where are you going? Are you gonna show the audience? Okay, that's fine. What are you gonna do? Come back then? No. The best thing to do if someone's giving a speech, if there's action going on somewhere, just focus on them and don't move. Just make sure it's in focus. Make sure you're following the rule of thirds. Make sure you're not cutting the joints and all that stuff. Same stuff that you learned with composition of photography, apply it to videography and just press record. You set up the shot from beforehand and don't move. If there's a speech going on, something's going on, the cake is being cut, whatever, right? Whatever the case may be, the safest thing you can do is go wide, go far back, right? And just press record. And let the action happen within the frame. Don't set up your shot in a way where, you know, for example, I don't have another subject, but for example, say there's a subject here, okay? Don't be here, and then you gotta move with them, because guess what? You just broke the rule. Don't move with the tripod. You don't want to do that, okay? Instead, go far back, okay? Go far back. So, say I'm the groom or whatever. I'm coming in, you know? I'm staying within the frame. Go far enough back. I don't have a big room here that I can show you guys how to do that, but you get the idea. Go far back. Move back. So you don't have to pan or tilt or zoom or anything. You're already set your shot. You're wide enough. This is especially for B-roll. Unless you got another videographer who's dedicated for B-roll, which is wide angle shots, right? Don't go close up. Don't do close up unless you have a B-roll videographer. B-roll videographer is someone who's dedicated to capturing all the wide shots of the event so they don't miss anything. The cinematic photographer and videographer, or the second videographer, can go close up. He can go close up. He can get a little like a medium shot of the action instead of a wide shot because another guy's already taken the wide shot, so it's okay. And the editor will switch back and forth between the two cameras. You got it? Only do that if you're close up. But if you're the only videographer there, right? If you're the only videographer there, don't follow the action. We don't have fancy stabilizers built in the tripod or inside the camera that can, you know, make sure it's stable. No. Unless you have a glide cam or a gimbal, which is specifically for handheld videography, which has internal stabilizers, do not move with the tripod or the monopod. Don't move with the tripod or the monopod. Tripod and monopod is specifically set for locked, fixed positions. Make sure that your footage is stable. We've had a lot of trouble with this in the past. That's why I'm emphasizing it so much. The editors get unstable footage and they're pissed. I'm gonna be pissed, and then, you know, the video project doesn't look good, okay? Make sure it's stable, okay? So we talked about focus. We talked about stability, all right? Stability is easiest with the tripod. It has 3 legs. Stability is 3 times as hard with the monopod because it has 1 damn leg. So even if you got it set on the ground, our y-axis is okay, right? Our y-axis is good. The vertical axis is good. It's not gonna move up and down. But you see all this motion? You see that? Boom, our x-axis is effed up, okay? Unless you're so good with it, this is what I'm telling you, you have to be good if you want to mess with the monopod, or else don't even try, don't even bother. Don't use a monopod unless you know what the hell you're doing, okay? Till today, even I screw up sometimes. I prefer a tripod any day of the week, all right? If you're gonna use a monopod, if you have the guts to use a monopod, stable, don't move. Be as still as a statue. Just don't move. Record. The speech is going on. Don't move. You can breathe, that's fine, but don't move. All right? Speech is over. Next speech. Oh, stop recording. Let me switch up the angle real quick. Move over here. Maybe go wider. Maybe go closer. Maybe go to the left. Maybe go to the right. Boom. Solid. Focus. Record. Don't move. Okay? It's easier with the monopod to move around, just because it has 1 leg, so you don't have to keep like fidgeting. Like if I'm using the tripod, I gotta, you know, there's a little bit more legs and stuff. It's gonna be a little bit harder to move around, but remember, it's safer because it's more stable. You got it? Still good enough for some moving around. All right. So stability, focus. 2 most important things. The other thing, lighting. We already talked about lighting. We don't have to go into that too much. The one thing that I did want to say though is LED lights. You guys will most likely have a microphone on top of your camera, like this one does, the one I'm recording with. You know, like a little shotgun mic. Make sure the mic is connected to, there's a mic input. Okay? You put it here, just like you put the flash on, you put the microphone here and you lock it in place. And then you put the wire in here. See, it says mic input. Make sure you don't put it into the headphone jack or something like that. Make sure you put it into the mic input. You got it? And make sure it's on. Make sure it's on. And I'll show you guys how to check audio levels afterwards, but this is LED light. All right? Obviously put in the battery, you take this part off. You put in the battery here. Lock it in, okay? might fidget with it a little bit if you have to. You press this button and test how much battery it has. This is 3 bars out of 4, so we're good. I will charge it later on, but that's okay for now. This is called a filter, okay? You remember white balance? Or how we had to adjust the white balance? So the same thing with the LED lights. You can't, this is not a computerized thing where you can change the white balance. So this is for like flash or LED, similar to blue light. White and blue is the same. If the interior is incandescent, see this guy? You're gonna switch it on. If the interior is incandescent, right? You can put this on, okay? Boom, pop it on. You're gonna get nice yellow light, which is gonna match the interior of wherever you're shooting, okay? If you're indoors, outdoors, whatever the situation is. I mean, outdoors is not gonna be incandescent anyway, so outdoors you can use this guy. But this is just to make sure that you match the indoors of the venue, okay? So for the example's sake, I'll keep this one on. I'll put this back in the holder. Okay. This knob right here, adjust the angle. You want it to be straight, or maybe angled down just a little bit, not too much, and lock it in place. Okay? Lock it in place like that. You got it? And then we do that. Push it in, and just like the flash, just like the microphone, you use this guy. And you lock it tight. You got it? Nice and snug. You don't want it to fall on you. You don't want it to fall on other people. It has happened before, or almost has happened before, so make sure it's locked in place. Okay? Bam. There's a knob right here. You can flash the LED. When do you use this? You're going to use this guy when they dim the lights for the dance floor. Because, you know, everyone likes partying in the dark. So they dim down the lights, and you have to... I don't know why I'm starting slowly, progressively speaking with a New York accent. That's just weird. They dim the lights, and you want to turn this on because it's going to be dark, right? So you turn this on, you capture everything, looks good. And so during the dance scenes, what am I saying? This is a movie now. During the dance, open dance floor, they're going to dim the lights. You want an LED, turn it on, bam. You can pan whatever you want to do. See, dancing is very repetitive, so you can get a little bit more cinematic, but you know what the issue is? Sometimes you want to make sure you capture a whole song. Because if you just stop recording in the middle of a song, then what is the editor going to do? You're going to have a bunch of different parts of the same song. So I would suggest have the same angle, one angle for a full song, okay? You choose your angle somewhere, wherever it might be, turn on your LED, press record for the dance scene. Move around. You know, there's the open dance floor is usually 2-3 hours, so you can move around a little bit more. We'll talk about important moments later on, and what to do for those. For those, you just gotta freeze. Don't even try to get cinematic with it. But anyway, unless of course you have a dedicated B-roll videographer, as we mentioned earlier. The other time we're gonna use the LED guy is if we go outside. So a part of the Indian, Bengali, and Pakistani culture is the farewell. There's a farewell. The girl leaves her family and goes off to the husband forever, kind of thing. And then they walk outside of the venue and then get inside the limousine, get inside the car. So from the venue to the car, there's darkness. Okay, they're walking. This also applies if there's a nighttime wedding and they're coming in. Whenever you're outside and it's nighttime, you have to use a LED. Okay, whenever it's dim inside the hall, and your exposure meter is telling you, yo, it's dark, and you got your ISO all the way to 2000 or 2500, and you got your aperture all the way down to 1.8, and your shutter is fixed, obviously. You can't move around the shutter with filming. All your values are good, and it's kind of maxed out to brightness. What do? It's still dark. You turn on the damn LED. That's it. Simple, okay? So if it's too dark inside of a venue, if you're outside, if you're doing open dance floor, whatever dark situation, dim situation, you have your LED ready to go, okay? I would recommend, so we have this special type of, it's called a dual shoe mount. I want to show you guys real quick. This is called a dual shoe mount, okay? This on the bottom here is a shoe mount. It goes on top of the camera over there. And you can put two things. Here I have an LED on this side, and here I can put a microphone, like a shotgun microphone, okay? So I can put two things at once. So if you have a dual shoe mount, boom, pop it in there. You got your LED. Usually one videographer recording audio is enough. The other guy can have the LED, or other girl can have the LED, and you guys kind of work together, however way. But if you have two LEDs, if you have two shotgun mics or two microphones, you can use this one, okay? Make sure this is locked in very well. This is going to be more weight because it's going to have two things on it, so make sure it's not loose. You want to tighten the knob. Always tighten the knobs with the shoe mounts. You got it, guys? That's called a dual shoe mount, okay? We talked about stability. We talked about manual focus. I want to make sure it's recording real quick. Let me just check. It is recording, thank God. 16 minutes, that's a long time. What else? Let me see if I'm missing anything. Camera settings, focus, manual focus, master, stability, everything. Light. We talked about lighting. So we talked about manual focus, how to master stability. We talked about lighting. That's it for now. And the next one, we're going to talk about establishing shots. Like, what do you actually do as a videographer? So we talked about settings. We talked about gear. You guys will be using a tripod. You guys will be using a monopod. There's one more thing called Steadicam. I don't really use it much because it's so freaking hard to master. So I'm not going to even teach you guys that. And I don't have it on me anyway. Adib has it. Thanks, Adib. I'm just kidding. No, he does have it though. But alright guys, I'm going to see you guys at the next tutorial.